But yeah, that has been quite fun.
For me, it was very unusual because I had breakfast today. Normally, I don't eat breakfast during the week, but we had breakfast with 80 days, so it was very nice.
So today we had a Sacher in Vienna with my friend Paul Sorantin as a commercial director of this machine. And today we want to tackle one of the main questions around innovation, AI, and at the same time, heritage and tradition, which can coexist. That's the main topic and the main question I want to tackle today. But before we move on, we are in this beautiful suite at the Sacher. Paul, do you have any story to tell about this suite here?
Yes, so right now we are in our suite 210, which is actually called the Wiener Staatsoper Suite, which we rebranded this year. Mm-hmm. And you will find in the suite little accessories from the Staatsoper around it.
Excellent. And we have beautiful artwork. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's gold everywhere, which I don't want to touch anything. But very happy to be here. My name is Thibault Catala. I'm the founder of Catala Consulting, and this is HXT 212.
HXD 212.
All right, Paul, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and what you do here at the Sacher?
Sure. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Right now, I'm holding the role as a head of commercial performance, mm-hmm. And in my department, I oversee all the activities around revenue management, e-commerce, distribution, and digital marketing for the hotels, as well as for the Organized Sacher Torte for the online shop.
Okay. Can you maybe explain what is revenue management for anyone who has no idea of revenue management? Let's say like you have to explain to your kids what Papa is doing. Or you would explain what the revenue manager is doing?
What our revenue managers are doing right now is they try to figure out which price they need to sell at any time, mm-hmm. to which customer, that it generates the best result for the hotel.
Okay, I like it. But my kids, I think they will be a bit lost if I say
absolutely. Also, for kids, I would say it's determining a price, mm-hmm. Which a customer is willing to pay. Okay. And if you look on kids on the playground, everyone is willing to pay a different price for a certain product. And this is what the revenue manager is trying to do, to find out.
Okay. I like to, when I try to show off with my friends or even with my family, when they ask me what do, I say like you see the traders in a bank, I'm the kind of trader for hotel. I make more money for them. That's kind of the main one. But for my kids, I tell them like I'm a treasure hunter. I'm trying to find clues. I'm trying to find different ways for the hotel to make more money. That's kind of my way to put it. But revenue management, did you feel that revenue management has evolved in the last few years? Or do you think it's still the same?
I would definitely say revenue management evolved. Because when I started in revenue management in 2012, mm-hmm. there was no year which was the same as the year before. Because every year new topics came up, new challenges, new KPIs. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes revenue management so interesting, because it's constantly evolving. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen right now it is evolving so fast right now that I'm really curious to see in which direction mm-hmm. it will go in the next years.
So do you believe the job of a revenue manager will still exist in 5 years?
I believe it's gone in 5 years.
Boom.
I'm pretty sure it will be gone in 5 years, because the way how we did revenue management in the last 10 years, mm-hmm. I would say, it's not necessary to do it in the next 5 years, because systems can do it. Okay. The role needs to change in the next years. It's more about the person who can generate revenue. Okay. That's the revenue manager, but it's not the person who is spending endless hours on Excel sheets or in a revenue management system and tweaking rates and stuff like that.
I actually disagree that the job will disappear.
It will not disappear, but it will just change dramatically from probably we have seen in the last 10 years or 13, 15 years. Yeah, it will. From what I see right now is a lot of tasks our revenue managers are doing at this stage are those which are not automated, are at those tasks where just systems are not speaking to each other. Yeah. But as soon as all systems will start speaking to each other, then you can automate them.
I see. Yeah, we talk about it quite a few times, even together off records, and I believe it won't disappear, but we are now at a tipping point where it will change. It needs to change. And the revenue manager, we were stuck on the Excel spreadsheet and doing pricing and so on. These days are gone for sure.
Yeah.
But now I do believe it needs to evolve into a strategic direction, into this kind of experimentation, to leverage technology and innovation and AI to focus on the most important, which is the strategy and experimentation. And then you have some consolidation, maybe like your position now, into more commercial elements, which I believe it may be the future of revenue management. Yeah.
I definitely agree on that. As mentioned earlier, it's got to be the person who can actually find ways to generate revenue.
Yeah.
My opinion, it also doesn't need to be the revenue manager. It can be also your sales director or your marketing director. You just need the person who can understand the data
and communicate it.
Yeah. Do you need a revenue management background or a marketing background or a sales background? It won't matter that much anymore.
Makes sense. Okay.
At least for properties which have a developed sales marketing team. Yeah, for sure. In smaller properties or in the countryside, you will do things different than in branded hotels.
That's very interesting because we are here at the Sacher, which is old of 150 years. Is it correct?
Yeah, the Hotel Sacher Wien is going to celebrate the 150 years anniversary next year.
Okay. Yeah. Happy birthday, the Sacher. And do you believe tradition and heritage, is it a blocker or an enabler of innovation and advancement? Like, can you embrace technology as much or as fast as other smaller property, for example?
Yes, I would definitely say. Because it's actually the reason why we are still here since 150 years. Without the innovation, we would not be able to stay relevant for the last 150 years and hopefully for the next 150 years.
I believe there is many people, they have this misconception that luxury 5-star hotels are not really embracing technology, AI, or even advanced revenue management because it's a luxury, it's an heritage. You have a lot of, not old school, but they have this kind of misconception that heritage is a bit more old school. But I understand with the Sacher, you have been experimenting, you have been trying some new tools and new innovation, and you believe that's kind of things which make you relevant and survive as well.
Yes, I can give you an example. For instance, Sacher was one of the first hotels in Vienna which had electrified chandeliers.
Okay.
Back in the...
Last year.
Last year, yeah. Well, but back then probably it was also innovation and people said, okay, why would you need it? Yeah, and I mean, now we're not talking about electrified lights anymore, but we talk about, implementing tools which can help us to automate repetitive tasks.
Okay. Yeah. I understand as well you have been using, do you use AI at the hotel?
Yes, we use AI in different fields. We use it on the website, where we have a chatbot, of course. It's already in the second chatbot, which we are using right now. I can give you an example. In the last 2 years, the chatbot handled more than 60,000 conversations.
60,000?
60,000 conversations. So if you think about, you have an employee answering all those conversations, it's quite some time which you would need. Yeah, and those 60,000 conversations were handled with an automation rate of 96%. Yeah, so only a fraction of it actually needed a human interaction.
Okay.
Right now, everyone is talking about AI and chatbot and stuff like that, but actually revenue management systems, AI plays a bigger role before it came fancy or being popular, because the machine learning concepts are used for forecasting and for pricing principles. And of course, we also use a revenue management system. And of course, we're also running it on an autopilot since 2 years. So our prices are defined and yielded by the system automatically for all our room categories for the next 365 days.
Yeah.
We can't do this on our own, especially if you say you have 2 properties, you pile it up to 16 room categories, doing it for 365 days, defining every day the right price for the right customer.
Yeah.
It's just not possible anymore.
So you're saying those tasks were need to be automated years ago.
Yes.
Like that's the kind of thing that you are actually happy to be automated. And now that those tasks are automated, does it give you more free time to do some other tasks? And if so, which task are you focusing much more time on, or your team as well?
The team can focus now more on the strategic part. Yeah. Also, the revenue manager is not digging into every day to optimize just this single day for all room categories. They all try to work with the bandwidth, with the min-max bounds and stuff like that to help the system to understand, to optimize it, and to work more on the strategic part to see, okay, what can I get out of the data, and what do we need to do right in the future. We spent a lot of time on forecasting, on also predicting the upcoming months. We know a lot of systems are very good on forecasting for the next 30 days, but with our lead time, if we see for the next 30 days, we might not hit budget. It's too late to react. So actually, we need to forecast 6 months, 9 months out to actually change the direction, for instance. So this is where we are right now spending more time on to see on what can we do for those longer periods. Yeah.
That's interesting, because your job and your team, they look at a lot of data spreadsheets, a lot of BI tools and other online tools. How do you make sure to still make it human on this field? Because it's very easy to get lost into the tech and into this kind of data and so on. But do you have any techniques or any recommendation to make sure, even if you look at data, to make sure you keep the human element into it?
Especially in the part of revenue management and all in the commercial part, you will only succeed if you are able to tell the story. So the storytelling part is the most relevant one. If you start explaining too much details on technical stuff and on pricing strategy and what you do here and there, why is your SEO campaign running, or why do you work on these keywords, you will lose the people. So it's more, you need to work on the storytelling part. And I'm also super happy to see that actually also in this industry, storytelling for revenue managers, or actually storytelling is becoming a much bigger, or playing a much bigger role now. And it's also getting trained.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned about storytelling. Is there any other skills that you believe are super duper relevant in the next 10, 20, 50 years for commercial expert and revenue management? If it still exists, by the way, but in commercial.
I would say it's the ability to analyze data and to understand the data and to create an action out of it. Because I would say we are very good in analyzing things, but it's very hard to get into the action part. But this is actually the part where the fun part will start.
Okay.
And this will stay also for the future. You might have any tool, you name it, I don't know, which will give you an idea of what happened. But if the tool is not able to create also the action which you would need, then you need to create the action.
Makes sense.
And if you don't get the learning out of it, of your analysis, nothing is going to change. Because then you will have run into the same problem which you had in the previous month, in the next month. We will be able to analyze it. But still, no learning out of it. And I would say right now that's the most tricky part, is to actually get into this going part, to see, okay, this is what we've learned. This is what we should do differently. Let's focus on doing it. And then it's not only about the revenue, it's not about the pricing part, right? Pricing is just one part. You need all the other departments on that one. Because if your message is not clear, or if you're transmitting a completely different message on social media, it might be tricky. Also, you need to align with your sales team and your reservation and events team. So those actions need to be communicated across the whole sales and marketing function, and also within the hotel. Generating revenue is not only a task of a sales marketing team. Basically, everyone who is dealing with guests can actually generate revenue.
I love this when people are saying like, oh yeah, but you are the revenue manager. Revenue is down, revenue is up, is because of you. Actually, even better. Revenue is down, is because of you. Revenue is up, thanks to the sales team. And
thanks to everyone.
Thanks to everyone.
Thanks to everyone.
That's very often that we have this kind of, I call it the revenue manager dilemma. Here we go. But I fully agree with what you just mentioned about storytelling, looking at the data and making sure we extract the juice, what is the most important, and to act on it. Because a lot of people, they have the data, the right data, but they don't know what to do with it, or they don't act. And even sometimes even more important, they don't know how to communicate it, as you mentioned. So I do believe those kind of skills of communication, presentations, influence are super duper relevant in the future. Even more important than any kind of technical aspect to it. How we communicate with each other. How do we interact with each other? How do I convince you that my idea are worth it? And that I believe are more the soft skills are needed in the future in the hospitality industry, any position, more than the technical aspect, I believe. You agree with this?
I would say yes, because the technical part is then gone. Or in a perfect world, all the systems are talking to each other. You get the data which you need. And then you just get into this action part. And right now, I would say we are so occupied with actually having all our systems up and running and making sure they speak to each other and the information is shared, that probably we spend too less time on the action part.
That's true.
But with the help of AI, it should help us to free us and to work more collaboratively. Across all departments in a hotel.
Do you have any example of, because I'm always a bit scared of tech and AI, that it makes the experience colder. Do you have any experience or any example of any tech or AI processes that you put in place that makes the experience actually warmer, that leverage the guest experience in a different way? Not colder, but warmer, better.
I would say, going back to the chatbot.
Yeah.
The chatbot frees up our teams to stay in touch with the guests. Yeah. So the repetitive tasks, just keep providing an answer, is done by the chatbot. But this means actually someone else has more time to focus on the guest. So I would not specifically tie it on a specific tool. I would just say, whatever tool you're using, it is giving you time which you can use to stay relevant to your guests, to listen to your guests, to have a longer conversation maybe, because the transaction maybe is done, and you can really focus on the guest experience.
No, that makes sense. I understand as well you have used some type of voice AI, César?
Yes.
Or did you go with this?
We tested a voice bot, which we implemented for in-room calls. So for guests who picked up the telephone and pushed the operator button, they were actually able to speak with Franz.
Franz, the AI bot?
Yeah, Franz was the virtual assistant, and he would also disclose it. At any time, you were able to also get to speak with one of our employees. Franz, for instance, this year handled 4,000 calls for both properties, for the property in Vienna and in Salzburg. 50% he handled on its own, and 50% he handed off to the other departments.
Okay.
What we realized there is a limitation. If you want that Franz creates an action, you need to connect it to the collaboration system. Okay. Otherwise, he cannot handle a request. He can give you an answer, but if you ask him, can you bring down my luggage? He will forward you to the concierge team. Okay. And then probably this is not satisfying for the guest, that he has to repeat the same request once again.
I love how you humanize the friends, the bot. I'm sure you're the type of guy who say thank you and so on to ChatGPT, right?
Of course.
We never know. We never know at some point if they wake up. But very interesting. And sometimes, how has it been perceived by the guest, those kind of bots, overall quite well? Because understand as well the guest expectation have changed, like in the last few years. Do you believe it's well received? And do you believe that's kind of very interesting? Do you believe those kind of AI bots in the luxury space still have a space in the luxury space, or do you believe it can be the limitation?
I would say there is space.
Yeah.
As long as it works, and this is also the feedback we got. Yeah. So as long as the guest gets what he wants, she is not going to complain.
Okay.
Yeah. But if he has to repeat the request 2 or 3 times because France could not handle it. Yeah, and he needs to forward you to the right person. Then, of course, this is annoying people. Yeah? Or if he gave you the wrong information. But I would say it's the same thing with an employee. If we don't train our employees, they will also give you wrong information. So I would treat the AI as an employee. Yeah?
That's an interesting point, because when I talk to teams and when I talk to different hotels, a lot of people are actually quite scared of tech and AI. How do you make sure you make your team trust AI and trust the tech that you put in place?
From with the implementations we did so far, we have seen once they see that actually what we are doing or what we try to achieve here is going to help them, then they are on board. If they don't see the purpose, then it's going to be tricky. Well, I would still say for me, it comes back to the training part. Yeah, if I put a new employee on the first day out to a guest without the training, the probably information might be wrong. And just a quick question: okay, where is the breakfast, or when does breakfast start? Yeah, if I did not tell you, you can't know it. And the same with the AI. So if you're not teaching it, from where should the information come?
We talk on off record on this, because you can have the best tech, the best system, the best AI, but if your team and the people behind are not on board with it, that would be a big failure. And we have been through PMS changes, revenue management system changes. It's always quite a stressful time. Do you believe people are resisting change because of the tech or because of the uncertainty?
I would say it's the uncertainty and it's and of the fear. That's the thing, that you don't know what is happening, but it's something different to what I did for the last 10 years or 20 years, or things are different to what I've seen or what I've learned. So far we tried to address this with trainings. We also have not seen that AI reduced our team numbers. So we have now AI tools and the teams are increasing. Also, the teams realize that the expectations from guests are increasing. So for them, it's a very nice help if they can focus actually on the more interesting part, and the interaction with the guest, instead of just doing the repetitive task which they did for, I don't know, the last 20 years, the same way they did it, just because we were not able to do it or to automate it.
So to involve the team, to make sure
if you involve it. For instance, with the chatbot on the website, we got every week a report on questions which the chatbot could not answer. So we had the teams to actually go into the system and provide the information. So they also have seen, okay, I insert more information, and then next week this topic is closed. And you see how the system is learning. This definitely could or helped us a lot.
At the end of the day, it's all about leadership. It's all about communication. We go back to this one, and those kind of because we're all emotional creatures, so we all have emotions. We all have fears, and we may be scared that tech and AI may replace us at some point. And that's why I believe we need to find ways to embrace the change and to make everyone align on this kind of thing. I think that's the most important.
But when we implemented those tools, we also had the operational teams on board, because we showed them in the beginning, before we decided do it. They got a demo, and they also had the chance to tell us their opinion, to say, okay, yes, makes sense, or no, it's not making sense. So if think it makes more sense to involve everyone, especially for those who need to work with that, instead of, okay, this is a, I don't know, corporate decision. This is your tool. You need to work with that. No matter if you don't like it or like it. So as long as you involve everyone and everyone has the chance to speak,
that's most important.
That's the most important thing, and then it will work, or will work. But at least you have a baseline where you say, okay, hey, we all agreed on, we are gonna do that one. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I see. And because you have been with Sacher for 6 years now, and is there any any things that you had to, because now you evolve as well from revenue management to a more commercial position. Is there anything that you had to unlearn to be successful in your current position in the last few years?
Definitely communicating.
Okay.
Communicating across multiple departments. Also presenting the ideas.
Okay.
Convincing, and getting the alignment from everyone.
Okay.
In this, or at least for Sacher, this definitely. I would not say that this skill was required in my previous positions.
That was your biggest learning curve.
Yeah, that was.
I think the cake is here. Like
Awesome.
That's something which we couldn't go to the Sacher without eating a Sacher Torte. Is someone coming? Yeah, you can come in. You can put here. Thanks so much. Look at that. There's
Very nice.
extra chantilly for you, Paul.
Oh, too sweet from you.
That's with the oat milk?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, you too. Look at that. That's a bit too far. So can you tell me a bit more about the Sacher Torte? Take one. Take a bite.
Of course, that's where it all started.
What
In 1832,
even before the hotel?
even before the hotel.
Was
Yeah,
it?
it was before the hotel.
Okay.
So it started with the cake.
I didn't know. I think it was the hotel and then the tart.
No, it all started with what you're gonna try in a second. Yeah?
Very good. And what is the recipe, Paul, of the of the Sacher Torte?
That's a secret, but I can tell you that it's still handmade. From based on the original recipe from 1832.
Okay.
And the only difference right now is that we ship it worldwide compared to 1832.
Okay. Like how many? Okay, I'm not going to ask how many Sacher Torte you sell a year, but how many Sacher Torte you made a year? Which is the same question, by the way. More or less, like what is your number of Sacher Torte that you have?
Around 360,000.
60,000?
360,000.
360,000?
Yeah,
My God, it's becoming kind of an icon of Vienna. I will even say like Austria.
I would say it's already.
It's already correct.
I would say it's already.
Do you think the Sacher Torte is more known as a hotel, or the hotel is more known as a torte? Like, I don't know if you understand my question. But
No, I understand your question. I would say it really depends on which countries you are. There might be markets where the hotel is very well known, and on the other side you still have the cake, and
okay, and you ship it worldwide.
we ship it wherever we can.
Excellent. That's really cool. No, but you know, I had to come to the Sacher, and for sure I had to try the Sacher Torte, which is very good, and the chantilly and so on. Yeah, very well done. Excellent, but that goes very well with my next question, by the way. What do you believe makes the Sacher experience so special? What do you believe is the Sacher experience here?
What makes it so special is the way how we connect with our guests,
Okay.
and the way how we treat our guests, and that we listen to them, we read them, we try to create experience for them, which they will not find somewhere else. Which also requires that we train our staff in a way that they can do all those things.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any moment or any kind of guest request that you recall, which you find that was, that's a real the Sacher experience here?
For instance, I remember a story from someone who wanted to attend the opera ball.
Okay.
It was opera ball late afternoon, 1-2 hours before all shops were closed, and there was a problem with the dress.
Okay.
And it ended up that one of our managers would go for the next shop because she had the same body or appearance like a guest. She would go to the shop, would buy it, and bring it to the guest so that she can attend the opera ball.
Very cool. Okay. And I think that, that's what makes the luxury experience much more human and much more personalized as such. And any kind of I don't know about this room, but any celebrities or anything that you remember to say like something which stay with me.
So normally
don't
in
disclose.
the lobby we have a statue from an angel.
Okay.
Which is doing like that.
Okay. There you go.
And so we're not
so you
gonna
can't say. Okay.
No, because that's part of it. Because people who come this day as Sacher, they appreciate
confidentiality.
the confidentiality.
Privacy.
And the privacy.
Understood.
Definitely.
Very good answer. I was testing you here. But okay, excellent. And in terms of understand about the experience, creating those moments for the guest, and again going back to our topic, is there any tech that you leverage to make those moments even more special or even more personalized for your team and for your guests?
I would say what we're gonna try is to see how our new CRM can help us to create those personalized moments. At this stage, it is a lot of manual work of how we create those moments for our guests. But I'm very sure that there will be ways to automate, but to get more information about guests in a more automated way, to see about the preferences and to come up with that one as well.
That's also an interesting one, because I found the line being personalized and making sure you proactively anticipate the needs and expectations of the guest, and the line between being creepy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or do you make
Definitely,
sure?
I think I would say yes. The line is pretty thin.
Yes.
But when you read the guest, I would say there is a difference between stalking. But when you can read the guest, when you can anticipate what he wants, she wants, it will not feel creepy. If you create a very nice moment.
Yeah. I don't know, like, see, for example, like with machine learning and so on, I feel that at some point, some CRM will be able to tell me something that I need or I want, even before I know that I want this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I find it at the same time exciting and creepy at the same time, you know what I mean? So I think like there is this kind of line of balance between finding those kind of moments and
but it's happening already around us. I mean, probably hospitality just is, again, a late adapter to that one, but Amazon already knows what we should buy without us knowing, and is suggesting us what we should buy.
Yeah,
they're already doing it.
That's true. So now the next step would be in hospitality.
It would be just in hospitality probably, the next step. Yeah, or Google or also Instagram and Facebook where advertising is pretty good. They know what you need.
That's true. I was reading somewhere a quote which I really liked. It was about AI won't be able to replace a smile, but it can anticipate when you will need one. You see what I mean?
Yes, and it's a very nice saying, I would say.
Yeah.
I would still say the smiling will come from a human employee.
So do you believe on tech and human can AI, tech and human can coexist? Or do you think it's one or another?
No, I think I would say, especially for luxury hospitality, you will have this human interaction. You need this human interaction. But the most interesting part is, okay, can we get the friction away what we have right now on those transactions through AI, through technology, that our staff, our employees able to purely focus on the guest and not making sure that it did the checklist, that I have all the information I need for the check-in and stuff like that.
So it's more like using... Go ahead.
Yeah, it will be more like acting as a host, and not like, okay, you go to the reception desk because you need to check in. Yeah, and there you need to present your passport and you need to sign it.
I see. So it's not following our discussion as well. It's not AI or tech as a replacement of your team. It's more like an extension of your team to do something better and to do things to focus on much more the fun part of your job. Yeah,
I would definitely agree on that one. Yeah, probably fast forward 50 years, it might look different.
Yeah.
For the next couple of years, I would still see AI as a support of the team or of the departments to actually focus on the human interaction.
That's something which is very deep, because I do believe whatever happen, AI, tech, whatever next that we have no clue of, we all come back to the same human element. We're not into the B2C, we're not into the B2B. I believe we are in this edge to edge, the human to human. And that's something we should never forget. Luxury, non-luxury, any hotels should still remain human focused. We are working with a human, your staff is human. We are serving guests who are human. Our partner, everyone is human around it. Yes, we have tech as an enablers, but we should never forget that we are human, walking, talking, and living with other humans. And that's, I believe, where is the future of hospitality and the society.
It's what Sacher is saying, that Sacher, people enchant people. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So we have this human.
I think that's important. Say it again.
At Sacher, people enchant people.
Very good. That's actually super important.
This counts for our guests, but also for our employees. The same way. So we are not enchanting AI bots or
to never forget that we are human. We are people.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what.
At the same time, also humans are working for humans, and the AI will support them. They will give them the time and the ability to actually focus on the guest.
Yeah, that's
and have the ability to read and listen to them instead of just doing a check-in or doing the transaction.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we need to move away from this transactional part. And also in the commercial teams, you're so buried with your operational daily parts. If you get out of this, remove the friction, then you can get into this going part. You can get into the action part. And this is then where the fun part is started, because then you can work on things. You can test things.
I think that's very important. Yeah, very important. And what do you believe is the biggest challenge in aligning those human together? Because we all have different ways of working. We all have different education, different backgrounds. How do you make sure they're not like silos? How do you make sure we all work together towards the same direction?
I would say for Sacher it's pretty easy because we have company goals. And actually we have company goals until 2030.
30?
Until 2030.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a goal which we need to achieve until 2030.
Okay.
And from this company goal, which we need to achieve to 2030, this is broken down then, of course, to years and to the all different departments. But this makes sure that actually it doesn't matter which department you are, because every one of us is contributing to this goal.
That's amazing. Kind of your North Star of
Yes,
the big direction, the vision of the hotel, which is shared with everyone, and you all know the direction to go.
Yeah.
Very good.
From the company, from those goals, they are broken down to the teams, and from the teams they go broken down to the individual targets and goals the individual positions have.
I have to tell you, this kind of technique brings you into the top 1% of hotels I know, because most of people, if they have any, they have a budget for the year after. But when you ask them, like, what is your vision for the next 5 years, 10 years, now even sometime more, they don't know exactly where to go. So I believe this one is a very good way of aligning the team. Yeah.
I worked for the company in a time where we did not have those goals, and I can tell you it significantly changed the way how we work. Because before that, like, you had those silos, and every department has probably a different goal. Okay, ultimately, in theory, we all have the same goal because we have a budget to achieve, but not everyone feels aligned on the budget, I would say. But since we have company goals, it is much more clearer. And you also know, as long as you are working within this framework, you have a lot of flexibility.
Interesting. No, I love this long-term vision, like thinking long-term and to make it happen in the short term, but still keep in mind the big goal. That's very important. And is there anything that that you have learned in the last 6 years at the Sacher, because you have been here for 6 years? What are your top 3 key takeaways that you will say like that you have learned to do differently in your leadership, in your in your life as a commercial director? What are your top 3 key takeaways here that you believe you should have learned even earlier?
That I need to step out of my comfort zone much more often.
Okay.
And I should have done this probably in my previous roles as well. But those were the moments which were the difficult ones, but also the most rewarding ones. If you have an idea, you can back it up with data. You need to learn how to convince people and to really work on the strategy around that to convince people.
Okay. One last one.
One last one is Sacher proved me that there is definitely no point of stopping to grow and to learn. You need to stay curious. You need to stay resilient. You need to work on, especially Sacher is a family-run business. We are not part of any big corporation. Yeah, so whatever we do, nobody else is doing. We don't have a headquarters somewhere who will tell us you should do this or you should work on that topic. And that was for me the biggest change from coming from a chain into a family-run environment, that you need to be the one who is actually driving it. If you're not doing this, then it's going to be pretty difficult.
Super interesting. Do you have any advice for the new generation of hoteliers, like a new student and so on? What would you recommend them to do or to focus on?
To try it out, to test it, to see that hospitality is such a great industry. It is so great to work with people. Even if you have no idea what you want to do in 5 years, it is okay. That if you drop out of or when you graduate, if you want to do it, you give it a try. You need to take the opportunities when they are there, even if there is risk involved. It will be worth. It is worth if you step out of your comfort zone. Definitely. And if you think you've learned everything on university, I'm very sorry, you're very wrong.
I love this.
You will need to keep on your personal growth to learn. And maybe it's things which they don't teach you or you didn't learn on university. Maybe it's about convincing people, fighting for ideas, those things.
What makes us human? That's
Yes.
the most important. Those kind of human interaction you cannot learn in school. I mean, they can give you the theory on it, but you have to experience it. That's very different if you learn about front office on a book, and if you go to Sacher and do the check-in, check-out at the Sacher. That's a totally different experience. So yeah, I love the angle you have, and I'm actually quite inspired by what you just mentioned, because a lot of students, for some reason, they want or they don't want to go into the hospitality industry. But I believe it's such a beautiful industry to be in. And sometimes people forget how beautiful and how inspiring it can be. You can meet a lot of people, you can travel. And I think we need more of those kind of advocates of the hospitality industry, because, yeah, it's a very beautiful industry, and that we are missing out a lot on this, I believe.
And I would also say, because there is also this misunderstanding, okay, hospitality, you always work long hours. I would say it's just you just need to work smarter.
There we go.
Especially for the commercial teams. No one asks you to work 7 days a week. Right now, with all the tools, you can achieve so much more in a shorter time. As long as you're smarter or work smarter than other ones, you will do well. And I would say the generation which is coming up from university, they do much better with the AI tools than we do. Yeah, and
100%. 100%. Yeah.
They will outperform us on whatever task you will give them.
Which is good and bad at the same time. But it's different. When you
it is just a different. It's different. They're the miss on experience. Yeah,
I agree.
Experience you can't buy, I would say. Yeah, you need to make your own experience, and also your ChatGPT or Gemini will not help you on that one.
I agree.
You need to see it and you need to feel it.
Yeah, makes sense.
But those tools definitely can help you if you're able to master it. They can help you in so many ways. Where we are right now, a lot of people are not taking the possibilities.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I would like to do a small game with you. Can you describe the future of the hospitality industry in 3 words only? No no explanation needed, just 3 words.
Experiences, change, technology.
Excellent. And if you had a big billboard in Vienna that everyone could see, but I would say like any student could see in the hospitality industry, what would you write on it?
Come in and win.
Come in and win. I love it. Come in at Sacher and win together. Of course. There we go. Excellent. But thank you so much, Paul, for having me today. I would like as well to thank the Sacher for allowing us to record in this beautiful suite. But I'm quite inspired by your discussion today because, again, you broke this kind of misconception that heritage, tradition, the Sacher cannot innovate and has to respect those kind of rules that we have in the hospitality industry. And I believe you guys are a living example that you need to innovate. You can experiment. You can move forward with AI, with tools, with a lot of things the right way. You can create the right culture, as we talk about the culture. So I don't know about the audience, but I'm myself quite inspired by what we discussed today. And I would like to thank you for this. And anything you wanted to add? Anything that we missed in the question?
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much also for giving me the opportunity.
Excellent. But thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.